Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas deals are coming, and I know how easy it's to get caught up in the biggest deals of the year. But this year, especially in light of layoffs that are going full speed everywhere, many people are stressed about financial security. That's why being more intentional about purchasing is really important. And one thing that you should remember, sales season isn't designed to help you save your money. It works quite opposite. Urges you to spend more on things you don't really need and most likely won't use. And after the recent layoffs announcement, this was a huge reminder to me that financial stability always matters more than a 30% discount. So let me share the 5 habits that helped me to stop impulse spending, even if I could afford buying new stuff, and how these habits kept me stable during the most uncertain months. So the habit number 1 is I keep my fixed expenses as low as possible. I live in Berlin in a relatively small apartment. It's around 51 square meters. Luckily, I have an old renting contract that makes my rent price below an average price range existing in Berlin right now. And yes, I could afford a bigger and more expensive, more fancier renting apartment, but I choose not to. You can call it frugal lifestyle, but for me, the financial freedom comes from not owning more, but with having less financial obligations. And every time I'm tempted to upgrade my lifestyle, I remind myself that bigger space equals bigger expenses equals less flexibility. Because if one day I'm impacted by layoff, I still have the bills to pay. And I would prefer to have affordable rent price to cover regardless if I have a stable job or not. So my habit number 2, I cook at home almost every time. And yes, it particularly comes from my healthy habits because I keep track of the nutrition, but also I like to experiment with my dishes and get the maximum support for my body from the healthy diet. And at the same time, it gives me control not only for the calories, but also for the quality of the ingredients. So I don't rely on fancy restaurants to have a tasty dinner all the time. I'm luckily happy to admit that I really can cook and bake, so I prioritize good quality products and know that my food is full of nutrition and vitamins. And I'm not a huge fan of artificial supplements, that's why this habit contributes to my longevity as well as my financial stability. Because to eat well, I don't need to spend much. Of course, I do eat out regularly, but the budget is not going out of control. By the way, I've shared the exact numbers in the separate video, so if you are particularly interested in the topic and want to see more how much it costs my to live in Berlin and my lifestyle, how much I spend on the regular basis, feel free to watch the separate video for that. But moving on to the habit number 3, I wear the wardrobe I already own and I always prioritize quality over quantity without chasing the short-term trends. The older I get, the more I buy clothes intentionally. Not because they went on sale at midnight, for example, or a famous influencer told this piece is trendy now. Before I buy any new piece for my wardrobe, I ask myself, can I style this piece 3 different ways? If the answer is no, it stays in the store. Trends fade, but real financial confidence comes from knowing you are not chasing every shiny thing that pops up in your feed, but you have control over where you spend your money and where you decide not to. My financial habit number 4, I finish the products first before I restock. We live in the culture where buying itself is a hobby. And finishing things is becoming more rare. It's trendy to have dozens of different lipstick, lip liner sitting in your bag, and often products expires faster than becomes empty. So for a decade, I came up to a very simple and universal setup of my makeup and skincare routine products that I use on daily basis and restock them only when I start seeing the bottom of the bottle. For me, it feels expensive not to waste the product, but to use the products. Own less, but have good quality. That's my motto. And this Black Friday, as every other sales season, I don't restock what I haven't even opened yet. Even if it feels like I'm losing the good price options, my approach actually proves that's wrong. And the habit of financially responsible person number 5, I invest in hobbies, not shopping. When I'm overwhelmed or getting emotionally exhausted, I don't try to get sense of fulfillment by shopping. I pause to recharge. I walk, I cook, read, do sport, create a video. In general, I do something that fills my brain instead of emptying my wallet. Because there is the secret that unfortunately very little people talks about. That shopping isn't a hobby, it's the coping mechanism influenced by marketing that wants us to consume more. And I believe we honestly deserve better tool than that. That's why before Black Friday hits your inbox, your TikTok, your Instagram feed, just ask yourself one question. Is it something I truly need? Or am I trying to fill an emotional gap with a financial hole? I know how it feels when you try to cover up the emotional gaps with a dose of dopamine from purchasing the new piece, but if you are preparing for layoffs, building your financial stability, or simply trying to spend more intentionally, these 5 habits will help you to stay grounded, calm, and in control no matter how loud marketing gets. Let me know what do you think about that. And as usual, let's see each other in the other videos that are available on my channel. Take care and see you very soon. Bye bye.